Living in Atlanta, you know what happened in the bank situation with Vegas, and Atlanta had the hardest hit housing markets in the country, and as well as real estate. And so to have a candidate that's not tied to any Wall Street special interest groups, that a lot of those things hurt a lot of us business people because of elected officials and other folks in elected office who were tied to that. So that was one of many reasons, you know.
The black demographic there's been a lot of negativity. People have called Donald Trump a racist.
Right.
You think what?
Well, I think, you know, I've been on hundreds of shows and I've always asked this question. Name one racial derogatory comment you've ever heard come out of Donald Trump's mouth about African Americans. Name one.
And
cricket. Exactly. There isn't any. I mean, the answer to that is there isn't any. Period. So where can it come from? We're on the black talk.
Right.
Where can it come from?
And so your friends in the community, what do they say?
Well, you know, let me give you an example of National vs. Coalition. The reason why we formed this was formed by Michael Cohen, who is the Executive Vice President of Donald Trump, good friend of mine, who's a Jewish Americans for Trump. He's Jewish. His parents were Holocaust survivors. And we knew that we saw this last year, that they knew they couldn't challenge him on his leadership and his ability, you know, his business background, et cetera, et cetera. So we knew they were going to try to come out and try to put him in this box as being this racist. And we knew, so it was like, you know what? We run across all these different people, Jewish Americans for Trump, African American pastors for Trump, Filipino Americans, Haitian Americans, a big voting bloc in Florida. It was like, wait a minute. It's like my grandmother said, everybody can't be lying. So it's like, let's put this diversity group together. And we grew.
What about the comments he made about when he was in Detroit? About the black community, about the argument that he stereotyped to some degree everybody as being poor, inner city, that whole thing?
Well, you know, obviously they try to put a broad brush and say, but, you know, it goes like this. No Republican candidate has spoke so strong and that elephant in the room that's never been discussed in the African American community. And, you know, and the bottom line is if this is applicable to you and this is and you're going through this, then it applies to you. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, these municipalities, cities, and counties that's been under the Democrat rule of the iron claw, they're being challenged. And that's very uncomfortable for that particular voting bloc to keep control and keep a lot of these inner cities and a lot of these churches and a lot of the civic leaders in bondage by like, don't you dare talk to those guys over. Case in point, we went to Flint, right? And then, you know, with the water situation going on, and then, you know, the mayor of Flint, the only thing that she could do is send out press release. We don't want Donald Trump here because that's distracting. Really? Your water's poison, and you have the next president of the United States coming to your city when you have Flint neighboring that's in dire need, and you don't want him there? And they put so much pressure. I remember I talked to Bishop Harry Jackson, great guy. He was very catalyst in like letting Mr. Trump come in and say, hey, this is what we got going on. Most of the black leaders, watch this, are fearful every time a Republican candidate or especially Mr. Trump wants to come in that city. Don't you dare, blah, blah, blah. And they put so much pressure on these pastors, these civic groups, where they're like, they don't want any confrontation. That's why there's a huge silent majority of African Americans who are going to vote for Donald Trump.
Hey, CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the I right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.